What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Flip Side of Mud's channel. And today we're going to do a special read because today, in honor of National Vietnam War Veterans Day, we're going to do a double live read. Usually, I just do reads of 20 names in a video and then I post it on YouTube. So we're up to like video 21 of the Vietnam War. This is called 58,000 Lives, a tribute to the fallen, where I read the names of all 58,000 plus Vietnam veterans that have perished. They're all heroes in my book. I show a picture and we give the name, where they were served, where they're from, when they was born, died, and a brief history of them if I found something. Sometimes I have no information, sometimes I have paragraphs of information. So we're going to do a double live read. So we're doing 40 today in honor of National Vietnam War Veterans Day. So this is going to be video 21 and 22 in our series. If you go on my YouTube channel and you go to the Vietnam Veterans A, I'm doing them in alphabetical order. This video will be in there. I'm doing all A's, and I'm going to give an update to where we're at. Like I said, there's 58,000. We just finished the last video last night on number 400. That was video 20, the 400th veteran we read. So we're about to start video 21, and we're going to start on 401, and we should end on 440 since we're doing a double. Wrote down, I always give an update of where I'm at on ahead of myself. I just finished writing down number 573. So by the time we get this video done, I'm still going to be just about 100 ahead of myself. So out of 58,000 names we have to read, and I've only wrote down 573, we have a long way to go. It took 20 videos to do 40 names. So you can do the math. It's going to be a while. But like I said, it's National Vietnam War Veterans Day. I was already wanting to do a live, so I heard this morning on the radio that this day was happening, and I was like, "Oh, this is a perfect day to do a live." And then, in honor, I figured, why don't we just do a double read? We'll just do 40, kind of like do two awesome things at one time for these guys and gals. I didn't think there was going to be any women on this list, but I don't know if we'll get to her today. But there is a female on this list somewhere in the late 400s, I think. I wrote her name down, so far we do have one female. But the somber part about it is that 25% of all of the 400 names that I have read have perished due to friendly fire, which, if it continues with that number, that means 16,000 of our servicemen probably died out of 58,000 to friendly fire, which is absolutely stupid and horrible. But it's in the past, it can happen. But we're going to honor all these guys. We're going to give them a moment of silence and thank them for their service and all that good stuff. If you want to go to the Vietnam War Memorial, it is awesome. I've been twice. I plan on going again, and every single time I go to Washington, if you go, everybody goes to the Lincoln Monument. It's just a standard. If you're standing there looking up at the Lincoln Monument at the bottom of the steps, where the road, where the pathway is, where they park the buses, you're looking up at Lincoln. Look to your right. There is a pathway, and right around the corner is the Vietnam War Memorial. It is awesome. There's a book that has all the names in them, which is where I get my information from to look them up on the internet. Um, I will cite a couple of pages that we get them from real quick. That way, if you guys are just watching this, you guys can go look them up yourself if you want to. But I basically look up, Google Books has the book of all the names. I get the information from that. Then I go to the Wall of Faces, which has a picture of every single one of them so far of the 58,000, and I get there. And then I go to findagrave.com. I've only found 2 of all the names so far that wasn't on there. So findagrave.com. Usually a lot of their family members put stuff in there, so I get a lot of their information from that. And if I can't find anything between those 2 websites, I will jump over and go to togetherweserve.com. I'm trying to see if there's a couple more on here. There's a few different websites I will go to. If I remember they're on here, I will cite them. But I know Together We Serve is one of the big ones. There's American Legion. I mean, there's all kinds of different websites where I can get information on these guys. But some I've searched 15, 20 places and couldn't get anything. It's kind of frustrating, but it just is what it is. Oh, honorstates.org is another good one. There's war records. I mean, you can get stuff off Facebook. I mean, LinkedIn, anything you think of, but sometimes you can't find them. So it is what it is. But I got my pictures here, and we're going to start rolling with these 20. I'm sorry, we're doing 40. We're going to start rolling with these 40 awesome heroes on March 29th, National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Let's get rolling. Let's get right into it and start with the first name. Before we start, hold on. I put stars next to Medal of Honor, Silver Star, stories that bravery, stories that are just crazy, stories that need more in-depth conversation other than me just doing a 30-second read. Those will be on our podcast we're going to do in the future. I do have a podcast, but I'm not using it right now. So we will do. It's going to be the same name of this one, 58,000 Lives, a tribute to the fallen. It'll be under the same name, but we're going to. I usually get 4, 5 stars out of every 20, maybe 3, sometimes 1. But we're going to actually sit down and do more discussion. Not just me. We're going to have other people. We're going to sit down and actually discuss more in depth on some of these that need more discussion. So I always tell you when I have a star next to their name. So let's get rolling right in it. This is number 401. This is video 21 of our 58,000 Vietnam War heroes. They're all heroes in my book, no matter what happened, because they went over there and they fought for our country. But this is a special live read. I've only done one live. Everything else has been video recorded. So this is a special live video read of double names since it is National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Okay. So the first one of the day is PFC Richard Arthur Aiken Jr. Now, sometimes I will fudge their names, but I can't help some of the names. I just do the best I can guessing. And some of these cities in Vietnam, I do my best to guess because the names are crazy. So I do what I can. So let's roll with it. All right. PFC Richard Arthur Aiken Jr., born March 18, 1948, in Los Angeles, California. He died September 3rd, 1968. He was 20 years old in Tay Nguyen, Vietnam. So you did the best I can there. He was with C Company 1/5 Mechanic, the Bobcats, 25th Infantry Division. Died from hostile small arms fire. Now, when I say that, that means I don't have any other information. That's all I've got. If I don't have a story with it, he's on panel 45W line 30 on the Wall Memorial in Washington, D.C. if you want to go check him out. Let's give PFC Richard Arthur Aiken Jr. a moment of silence. And we thank him for his service. Let me make sure I have all my chat on. There we go. I have a live chat on. Okay. 402. Let's roll into the next. I have a star next to this one, so there's going to be a reason I have a star there. And another thing, some of these, the pictures, like where they show how they died, are so long. I didn't want to write all that, so I screenshot the pictures and I didn't even read them. So I actually will be doing live reads with you guys, or when I'm doing the videos, it's live reaction because I don't even know what it says. A lot of these I already know what they happened. I've already had the reaction, but you get a live reaction from the ones that I screenshot because I don't even read them because I want to get it more personal information to you guys when I live read them with you. Pretty cool. Okay, this is SP5 Adrian Allen Akins. So I always try to put a face with the name. I haven't found any that didn't have any faces yet. I just have found 2 that wasn't on one of the websites. Okay, SP5 Adrian Allen Akins, born April 4th, 1949 in Jasper, Alabama. Been there many times, just north of Birmingham. He died, or northwest. He died October 25th, 1969. He was 20 in Dong Nay, Vietnam. He was with the 919th Engineering Company, 11th ACR, Armored Cavalry, is what that meant. He drove a 10-ton tractor trailer rig, he was driving a 10-ton tractor trailer rig, which was having a bridge section loaded onto it by a crane. Okay, so they was putting a section of bridge onto the truck with a crane. He stood on his trailer and hand guided the load. You all know where this is going. This is why they have those safety features now. The cable carrying the bridge section, actually struck an overhead electrical wire, causing him to be electrocuted. I thought it was going to say the rig dropped. But since he was holding on to it, and I'm sure it wasn't a rope, I'm sure it was something else, it hit an overhead electrical wire, causing him to be electrocuted. He died after suffering a fatal cardiorespiratory arrest. Whew, that's crazy. I put a star next to that because that needs some more in-depth look into that. I thought it was going to say the rig dropped. See, went ahead of myself. He's on panel 17W, line 118 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give SP5 Adrian Allen Atkins a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Okay. This is SP4 Charles James Akins. Some of the pictures aren't military. Some of them are like when he was younger. He was born July 7, 1943 in New York. His home record was Fulton. If I don't have where he was born at, I have home record. Died December 5th, 1968. He was 25 in Vietnam. He was an aviation mechanic in the 11th Aviation Company, 11th Aviation Group, 1st Cavalry Division. He was walking by a military aircraft when he was struck by the rotating propeller and killed. I think that one deserves a star too, right? I mean, don't they have safety things in place where you don't walk under a rotor or propeller? I don't know. He's on panel 37W, line 44 of the Wall Memorial. That's an awful way to die. Let's give SP4 Charles James Akins a moment of silence. And we thank him for his service. Okay. This is Corporal Donald Wayne Akins. Like I said, I'm in video 21 of 20 names per video, and I'm still in the A's. Corporal Donald Wayne Akins, born October 12, 1947, in Hatch, New Mexico. What a name of a town, Hatch. Died June 9, 1969. He was 21. In Kanagawa, Japan. I think that's how it says. Kanagawa. Kanagawa, Japan. He was an aircraft weapons tech. Marine Helicopter Squadron 161. MAG 39, 1st Marine Air Wing. Some of them I don't know what they mean, so I just wrote down what was on the paper. He was on a rescue and recovery mission on a CH-46A Sea Knight. It was at the pickup zone, hovering at 75 feet, attempting to medevac wounded Marines. It was hit by automatic weapons, resulting in a crash. It then exploded and burned. Donald was seriously wounded and medevac to the hospital in Japan. He died from second, third degree burns to the head and body. Paragraph says June 6th. Or it says, okay, this is where there was a confusion. It says he died on June 9th on the Wall of Faces. The paragraph I read said June the 6th. So I don't know which one is accurate. Either the Wall of Faces is accurate or the other one is. I don't know. So it was either June 6th or June the 9th. I don't know. He's on panel 23W, line 116. Let's give Donald Wayne Akins a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Okay, this is Sergeant James Franklin Jimmy Akins. He was born April 5th, 1943. I have a question mark, so that means home record was Smart, Tennessee. SMARTT. They were so smart that they give it 2 T's. Smart, Tennessee. Died May 19th, 1967. He was 24 in Quang Tri, Vietnam. He's with I Company, 3rd Battalion, 4th Marine, 3rd Marine Division. He died from artillery, rocket, or mortar fire. The only info they had. He's on panel 20E, line 42 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Sergeant James Franklin Jimmy Akins a moment of silence. Thank him for his service. I just had a huge plate of Mexican, so it's going to be. You might hear some of it. Okay, this is Lance Corporal Ronald Paul Akins. Lots of Akins. But I think so far Adams was the most. I had 112 Adams, I think. Lance Corporal Ronald Paul Akins, born October 20th, 1947 in Akron, Ohio. Died February 25th, 1968. He was 20 in Quang Tri, Vietnam. He was an anti-tank assault man. He was with B Company, 1st Battalion, 26th Marine Regiment, 3rd Marine Division. He died from shrapnel wounds from an explosive device. Only information I had. He's on panel 41E, line 15. Let me see if I can hit the share button on this while we're doing this video. Maybe get a few people to join us. Just give me 1 second. See if I can get. Yes, that's me. Oh my gosh. Do I have to sit here and do this? Hold on. It's going to make me sit here and say it was myself on my phone. There we go. Yeah. Yes, it's me. Thank you. Trust the device. Let me just hit share on Facebook real quick so we can maybe get some more. That's not I don't know what that word is. No, I can't type. I'm live. Share. Go. Okay. We got the share off just in time. Okay. So we said he was on panel 41E, line 115. Let's give Lance Corporal Ronald Paul Akins a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Oh, this is a good basketball pitcher. This is PFC Samuel Leroy Akins. Samuel. Looks like he played for Central, and it could be a high school. He was only 20, so it was probably not a college. PFC Samuel Leroy Akins, born January 29th, 1948 in West Memphis, Arkansas. Died September 13th, 1968. He was 20. In Quang, I always get this one wrong. This was NGAI, Quang Ngai, Vietnam. Just guessing because that's the first time I think I've actually said it correctly, maybe. I don't know. He was with A Troop 1st Squadron, 1st Cavalry. He was in a vehicle that was hit by anti-tank fire. I don't. It's the only information I had. He's on panel 41W line 44W line 44. I think I remember saying that this was the first one that ever had matching numbers. 44W line 44. Very close. And then there was one like 2 or 3 down the road that almost was identical. And I was like, how did I get 2 of those in a row? I don't know, but he's line 44W line 44. Let's give PFC Samuel Leroy Akins a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Somebody's in here jamming to bluegrass. Y'all probably can't hear it because this microphone only picks up the surrounding area, but it sounds like they're watching Hee Haw. Okay, this is Corporal James. Nope, I skipped one. This is PFC Dwayne Charles Ackerman. Bill Anderson, Jimmy Fortune. That's what he said. Bill Fortune Show. Okay, this is PFC Dwayne Charles Ackerman. He was born April 17, 1946. Question mark. So his home record was Lewiston, Idaho. Died October 27, 1967. He was 21 in Quang Nam, Vietnam. He was with B Company, 1st Battalion, 7th Cavalry. Died from small arms fire. I know a lot of them are going to be on out of 58,000 that's going to say that, and I hate that there's no information because I want a story with every single person. I don't want to just know how they died. How they died. I want to know the story with it. I think they all deserve a story. He is on panel 28E, line 77 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC Dwayne Charles Ackerman a moment of silence. And we thank him for his service. I'll make sure my chat is on. Okay, there it is. I had to check and see. This is Corporal James Michael Axton. Akstin. James Michael Axton. I think that's how you would say that name. He was born September 8, 1945 in Vallejo, California. Died May the 12th, 1967. He was 21. Quang Nam, Vietnam. He's with HMM 262, MAG 36, 1st Marine Air Wing. He was on a CH 46A. I think it's a Chinook. It crashed into the South China Sea after suffering a structural failure. There were no survivors. They were shuttling four. Oh, they were shuttling 400-pound of cargo. Hold on, make sure there were no survivors. They were shuttling. They were shuttling 4,400 pounds of cargo, so they might have been overweight. So since they grounded all the Marine aircraft wing pending investigation of cracks in the AFT aft transmission mount area. So the helicopter was carrying 4,400 pounds of cargo, crashed into the sea. They grounded all the military aircraft until pending investigation of cracks in the aft transmission mount area. They were all sent to Okinawa for repair to return to duty. So this one crash shut down all the aircraft until they can make sure they were safe. That's crazy. He's on panel 19E line 91 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Corporal James Michael Axton a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Every time I do these reads, I yawn so much because I'm speaking more than I'm breathing in. I think it messes with me. Okay, this is PFC Peter Leonard Alagna. Told you I'm going to butcher these names. Peter Leonard Alagna. I think that's how you said it. He was born June 26, 1948, Santa Ana, California. He died January 23rd, 1969. He was 20. He had long in Vietnam. He was a D Company, 2nd Battalion, 60th Infantry, 9th Infantry Division. He died from small arms fire. I need to breathe in more. He's on panel 34W line 63 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC Peter Leonard a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. There's a little. This is always somber because we're basically reading obituaries, right? So I try to make it a little lively. So whenever I come across a picture in between the screenshots as I'm doing these names, I always share it because there's a lot of funny pictures and videos from CapCuts and Snap and TikToks and all that stuff. So anytime there's a random, it's as long as it's appropriate picture or video in between, I always show it just lively and up. But all I did was share my Cash App to somebody. But I didn't leave it on there long enough for me to hack it. But anytime there's a picture in the middle, I'll share because usually it's something funny. I need to raise this up. Maybe I need to have my lungs open up better this way. Okay, this is Lance Corporal Howard James Alamo. Alimo, not Alla. Ali. See, there's an I, not A. It would be Alamo, but it's Alimo. Howard James, aka Howie Alamo. Born June 5th, that's my birthday. 1949 in Katona, New York. Died May 31st, which is my brother's birthday. So he died 5 days before his 19th birthday. He's born June 5th, died May 31st, 1968. He was 18, almost 19. Well, my oldest brother's is May 31st. Mine is June 5th. My youngest brother's is June the 6th. He died in Quang Tri, Vietnam. He was with D Company, 1st Battalion, 3rd Marine Division. They were conducting a patrol when a Marine tripped and set off several booby trap mines. Howard and 12 others were wounded. However, Howard eventually died. That's crazy. One guy trips, sets off all his landmines, injuring 12 and killing at least one. He's on panel 62W, line 4 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Lance Corporal Howard James, Howie Alimo, a moment of silence. We thank you for his service. I'm surprised after 25 minutes, not one person has come on here and said hi. I am live. I want to make sure I'm live. It says end stream, so I am live. So it says it in the corner. Usually we have a few people watching, but nobody's watching me. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Okay, this is Sergeant John Charles Alimo, same name as the last guy. Get off my mouth. He was born May 31st. That's crazy that the guy before was born June 5th, died May 31st, and the guy right behind him was born May 31st. What if they were brothers? What was that last one? New York. This one was Pennsylvania. So maybe not, but that would have been crazy if he was born in 48. The other guy was born in 49. Okay. But still, wouldn't it be crazy if he was a year they were brothers and he died on the other one's birthday? But they're not. I don't think they're related. Born May 31st, 1948 in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Died April 8th, 1969. He was 20 in Dong Nha, Vietnam. He was with A Company, 1st Infantry Division, 16th Infantry Regiment, 1st Battalion. Could not find any info on him. Usually I get pissed off on it. I usually write BS on there. Okay, let me lay back and read these. I know it's not very professional, but I got to be able to breathe, you know. He is on panel 27W line 35 of the Wall Memorial. Let's thank Sergeant John Charles Alimo Asylum. Well, it was a good play to Mexican. We thank him for his service. Okay. This guy has a great nickname, but you'll see what his name was. But for reference, this is only number 413. There's probably been 4 or 5 more names ahead, and I'm in the 500s, that were friends of this guy because they all say they were friends of him because of this guy's nickname. His nickname was Rocky Versace. And there's been a bunch of times say, this guy died friends of Rocky Versace. So this guy must have been like uber popular to have 4 other names pass on the next 100 names, all be friends with Captain Vesa Johanni Alakulpi. Vesa Johanni Alakulpi. Johnny Versace. Rocky Versace. Because I am sure I butchered that name at least half the time I was saying it. But anyway, this is Rocky Versace. And probably 2 or 3 videos down from this one, you will hear friends of Rocky Versace. He was born April 23rd, 1941 in Lauplano, Finland. No wonder he's got a crazy name. He died May 14th, 1968. He was 27 in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. He won the silver. He was not won. He was awarded. I want to say won like you're trying to get it. He was awarded a Silver Star. He was a Company C, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Infantry Regiment, 119th Infantry Brigade. See photo. Ooh, that means the story. It's 2 full pictures long. So let's see what we got. I didn't read this, so let me put a star next to his name to Rocky Versace. All right, so we're getting this at the same time. But I'm going to read. It's mainly one paragraph, but it's pretty. I can read them pretty fast. President of the United States of America, authorized Act of Congress July 8th, 1918, blah, blah. They always say that. All right, let's see here. Silver Star to Captain Vesa, United States Army for gallantry in action while engaged in military operation involving conflict with an armed force, hostile force, May 14th, 1968, while serving as commanding officer. So he was the commanding officer of the company. In the Republic of Vietnam. On this day, Captain, I ain't gonna say his last name because I messed it up, was in command of a ready reaction force consisting of 1 rifle platoon and a mortar section providing security for a large 2-company base camp when an unknown sized Viet Cong force attacked the perimeter with automatic weapons, small arms, and rocket fire. Reacting immediately, Captain Alakulpi rallied his men to halt the enemy's advance, realizing that because of adverse weather conditions, air support was not available. Captain repeatedly exposed himself to the intense enemy fire in order to direct supporting artillery fire close to his company's position. So they couldn't see. So now they have lasers that can point a laser at where they're at. But this guy was like standing up and going blah, and getting shot at so they could see where to fire. During the salvage savage battle without regard for his personal safety. He continually moved about the perimeter, encouraging his men and directing their fire. Realizing that his unit is isolated from friendly reinforcements, the captain continued to provide dynamic and aggressive leadership in a valiant defense of the base camp until he was mortally wounded by enemy fire. But his courageous actions, he inspired his men to greater efforts and enabled them to bring maximum suppressive fire against the Viet Cong force and repel the enemy's attack. The captain's exceptional heroism and devotion to duty were in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service and reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, the United States Army. This guy was purposely running back and forth in front of the enemy to help his people, to direct the enemy fire and to help with reinforcements. Wow. He's on panel 60E, line 7. This guy is a major hero. Let's give Captain Rocky Versace, now let's see why he was a cool guy, a moment of silence. We thank him for his service and his sacrifice so we may be free. Okay, this is PFC William Robert. Did I show Captain Versace? I did. This is PFC William Robert Alamed. William Robert Alamed Jr. If I'm getting those wrong, just let me know. He was born September 16, 1948 in Massachusetts, Southwick. He died March 10, 1970. He was 21 in Thien Hue, Vietnam. He's with A Company, 3rd Platoon, 1st Battalion, 560 Infantry Regiment. I lost my spot. Oh, his division was attacked on a night position. 8 were killed and 14 wounded. That's the only thing I can find. He's on panel 13W, line 102 of the Vietnam War Memorial. Let's give PFC William Robert Alamed Jr. a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. I wish I could freaking read. My own writing doesn't help. This is PFC William Robert Alameda. Oh, hold on. That was the one I just read. This is Corporal William Capina Almeida. William Capina Almeida. Some of these names are just very hard to say. He was born June 19, 1944 in Hilo, Hawaii. November 1st, 1968. He was 24 in Tay Nguyen, Vietnam. He was a B Battalion, 5th Artillery 1st Infantry Division. Died from wounds received while at a night position after a mortar attack. He's on panel 40W, line 70 of the War Memorial. Let's give Corporal Almeida a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Did I say I was going to read 40 today? Yeah. Doing double 20s. Okay. This is Master Sergeant Gabriel Ralph. Now, this one is Alamo. Gabriel Ralph Alamo. Born November 18, 1918 in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Died June 6, 1964. He was 45. Quang Nam, Vietnam. Distinguished Service Cross. See photo. Ooh. Detachment A726. Nam Dong, Company C, 7th Special Forces. Oh, we got another big paragraph. Let's see what we got here. President of the United States. Let's see. Distinguished Service Cross. As a team sergeant serving with the United States Army Special Forces Detachment A76 at Camp Nam Dong, Sergeant Alamo displayed bravery, fortitude, and perseverance when a reinforced Viet Cong battalion suddenly launched a full-scale pre-dawn attack on the camp. During the violent battle that ensued, lasting 5 hours and resulting in heavy casualties on both sides, he participated with outstanding effectiveness in defending the installation. Upon the initial onslaught, he promptly directed a radio operator to transmit a message requesting support and then rushed it into a blazing building to assist in the removal of weapons and ammunition. Ignoring the burns he received while in the burning structure, he ran He then ran through a hail of enemy gunfire to a 60 mm mortar position and set the weapon for firing. As he noticed the enemy attempting to breach the main gate, he again dashed through heavy volume of automatic weapon fires to abort the hostile action. Although he sustained serious wounds in his courageous action, he reached the gate and prevented entry of enemy troops. Despite his wound and intense grenade attack, he reached the 60 mm mortar pit, refused evacuation for medical treatment, and directed the fire of a 60 mm mortar while simultaneously manning a 57 mm recoilless fire. Undaunted by the vicious enemy assault, he remained in his battle position and defended the camp until mortally wounded. This dude was brave. I mean, he first gets the radio, and then he runs into the building to remove ammunition. Then runs over to the weapons, to the big 60 cal millimeter, and then runs over to the gate, and then runs back to the 60 cal, and then gets on a 57 cal while after being shot. Holy crap! This guy's getting a star for sure. He should have got the Medal of Honor because Silver Stars is one thing, and Versace should have got it too. But that's a Medal of Honor story. I never heard one. How he doesn't have one, I don't know. Wow. He was also in World War II in Korea. Wow, I didn't even write that down. Let me just write that while we're at it. WW2 in Korea. This guy was amazing. Okay. He is on panel 1E, line 57 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Master Sergeant Brave Son of a Gun Gabriel Ralph Alamo a huge moment of silence. And we quadruple thank him for his service. Okay, this is PFC Charles Byron Allendat. Born December 31st, 1947. Died March 3rd, 1967. He was 19. In Tay Nguyen, Vietnam. He was with C Company, 2nd Battalion, 503rd Infantry, 173rd Airborne. Operation Junction City. Read photo. There's a bunch of read photos. Wow. Okay. During Operation Junction City, airborne troops from the 2nd Battalion, 503rd Infantry Regiment of the 173rd Airborne Brigade, south of Viet Cong's exclusive headquarters, the communist uprising in South Vietnam, searching in thick bamboo forests and jungle adjacent to the Cambodia border in western Thanh Nguyen province. The highly mobile VC, which were not easy to find, which is the enemy, and encounters with them could be sudden and deadly. Early in the morning of March 3rd, 1967, he didn't die to the 30th. Okay. 3rd Platoon set out on a search and destroy mission with the company's not position, from the company's not defensive position. While revisiting an area where contact with the enemy was made the day before, the platoon was ambushed as they observed and began pursuing a solitary VC. Oh, hold on. The platoon was ambushed after they observed and began pursuing a solidarity VC fleeing down a trail. So it was just one of them. Thinking they had an easy kill, the VC led them into a well-planned kill zone. An estimated Viet Cong company opened fire of small arms automatic weapons and claymore mines. The point element suffered heavy casualties and was pinned down when the calls went out for the NDP for help, the not defensive position, for help. A reaction force from the 2nd Platoon raced to their location. Radio contact was lost when the patrol during half an hour it took before they found the first American lying dead on the trail with his arms outstretched. Next to him lay a jammed M16 rifle. Further down, they found a small clearing where 5 survivors huddled together. In front of them were 15 dead, many hit multiple times. Several of them died trying to pull back the wounded comrades. While polishing up the battle area, the fallen 15, 9 had jammed M16s. It's 10 total jammed M16s. The dead and 2 wounded were carried in ponchos slung the bamboo stalks to a hastily cut landing zone. 2 enemy deads were found. Green and a medic were promotionally I can't never say this word right. Post Famously awarded the Silver Star and Medal of Valor during the battle. Statler received the Bronze Star. Also in the book, this is also in the book, based on the book "The Blood on the Rising" by John Lepelman. Lepelman. So this was crazy. All them guys and all their M16s jammed. They had a problem with M16s back then. They were talking about how they would jam up in the humidity of the jungle. Okay, I'm gonna put a star next to this one too. Which one was that? Charles? Yeah. Okay, this is Lance Corporal Amado Alanez Jr. He was born April 27, 1948 in Pawnee, Texas. Died March 30th, 1971. He was 21 in Thien Hue, Vietnam. He was the E Company 2nd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division. Was on combat patrol when he was shot by hostile fire. I didn't read the last guys. So this guy's on panel 4W, line 94. Charles Aldat was on panel 16E, line 6. So since I missed the first one, let's give them both a moment of silence. We thank both of them for their service. Hey, this is Sergeant Benito Alanez. Benito Alanez. Born April 2nd, 1941. I got a question mark, so I got to look at his home record was Colorado Springs, Colorado. He died March 19th, 1967. He was 25 in Vietnam. He was with E Company, 47th Infantry, 9th Infantry Division. Died from small arms fire. He re-enlisted when he had heard. Oh, this is a crazy story. I remember this one. He re-enlisted. He had already been out when he heard his brother Guadalupe had been drafted. He requested to be sent to Vietnam so his brother wouldn't. After Guadalupe heard what his brother did, his brother done, he requested to be sent to Vietnam. He served his year and went home. His brother did not make it. I ain't answering that from New Jersey. That's crazy. And one brother found the other one. He went back in, and then that's crazy. He's on panel 16E, line 10. Let me get this right. Let me hang up on this phone real fast. He's on panel 16E, line 109, the Wall Memorial. Let's give Sergeant Benito Alanez a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Now, normally I would stop on this next one, but like I said, we're doing a double read because it's National Vietnam War Veterans Day. This is Corporal Benito V. Alanez, same as the last guy's last name. Born December 3rd, 1949 in Cameron County, Texas. Died October 18th, 1968. He was 18 in Vietnam. He was with 1st Battalion, 46th Infantry, 198th Infantry Brigade. Died from hostile explosive device. The only thing I had on him. He's on panel 41W, line 71 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Corporal Benito Allen a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Now, normally that's 20. So normally I would cut it off here and I wouldn't be live, but we're doing 20 for the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. This is PFC Federico Alanez Jr. Federico. Born March 11, 1948, Watsonville, California. Died June 13, 1969. He was 21 in Quang Nam, Vietnam. He was with Company B, 1st Battalion, 46th Infantry Division. Died from mortar fire. 3 died and 20 wounded. That's the only thing it said. He's on panel 22W, line 37 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC Alanez Jr. a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. This next one's got a pretty good sized paragraph. This is PFC Louis Angel Alanez. Born August 27, 1949 in Edinburgh, Texas. Died February 5th, 1970. He was 20. Quang Tri, Vietnam. C Company, 1st Battalion, 61st Infantry, 5th Infantry Division. On a routine foot patrol, they came upon a Viet Cong flag on top of a hill. Oh, this is so dumb. I remember this one. The XO, who was acting as company commander that day, decided to send 40 guys to march up the hill towards the flag. Within several feet from the flag, the XO decided to throw a grenade towards it. Alanez was next to the platoon leader. The XO yelled, "Grenade!" Everyone hit the ground. The next thing you know, Howard was flying through the air and being critically injured. Wait a second. Oh, and Alanez died. So he threw the grenade, and Alanez was next to it. And Howard, who was up there next to the thing, let's see, flag. Okay, Alanez was next to him. So Howard was the XO. That makes sense. So Howard threw the grenade, went flying, and Alanez died. I mean, that's just inconceivable. He's on panel 14W line 102 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC Louis Alanez a moment of silence. I'm going to star that story for the podcast. Thank him for his service. Okay, this is PFC Paul Gilbert Alanez Jr. Born December 29, 1947 in Corpus Christi, Texas. Died May 12, 1968. He was 20. Quang Tri, Vietnam. He was with G Company, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marine Regiment, 3rd Marine Division. He was killed by a sniper bullet on Mother's Day. I hope they didn't tell him his mom that day. He's on panel 58E, line 29 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC Alanez Jr. a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. I could never be a motivational speaker or anything because I would run out of breath so easy. This is SP4 Raymond Alanez. Born October 30th, 1947 in Wichita County, Texas. Died December 1st, 1968. He was 21 in Quang Nam, Vietnam. He's with D Company, 4th Battalion, 31st Infantry Regiment, 196th Infantry Brigade. Died from small arms fire. Only information I can find. He's on panel 37W line 15 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC, was it PFC SP4 Raymond Alanez a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. I feel weird right now. I was reading those names, lack of oxygen, but I feel like I'm possessed. Whew. Y'all see it in my eyes? I don't know. Whew. Hope it ain't one of these guys. This is Sergeant Arturo Fragoso Alarcon. You can't make it up. That's what it says. He's born September 11th, 1946 in Oakland, California. Died March 15th, 1969. He was 22 in Quang Tri, Vietnam. He was with B Company, 1st Battalion, 3rd Marine Regiment, 3rd Marine Division. He was awarded a Bronze Star in his first tour. On his second tour, he had multiple frag wounds to his face, neck, chest, abdomen, both legs, with traumatic amputation of the right arm at the shoulder from a discharged grenade while waiting in the chow line at the mess hall. How are you going to end that? How are you going to end it like that? That should have been the first sentence. So let's go over this again. He had a Bronze Star in his first tour, so he did something heroic. And then a grenade was dropped while they're in the mess hall. That should have been first. Let's start that at the beginning. While waiting for chow in the chow line at the mess hall, a discharged grenade exploded killing him, and 4 others were injured. And another was killed later. Why didn't it start with that? That's what I mean. That should have started with that. He's on panel 29W line 42 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Alarcon a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Okay, this is Sergeant Jesse Charles Alba. Jesse Charles Alba, born September 25th, 1947, in Nueces County, Texas. Nueces County, Texas. Died May 25th, 1968. He was 20. DN Hugh, Vietnam. He was with D Company, 11th Battalion, 501st Infantry, 101st Airborne Division. Died from multiple frag wounds. Only information I had, he's on panel 70E, line 71 of the Wall Memorial. Thank you. I don't feel right. Let's thank Sergeant Alba. Let's give him a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Whew, let me sit up because I don't feel dizzy. Got to be lack of oxygen. Okay, I'm back. This is Sergeant John Ernest Albanese Jr. Born September 5th, 1946 in Medina, New York. Died May 23rd, 1968. He was 21. 21st Special Operations Squadron, 56th Air Commando Wing, 7th Air Force. See photos. Dang, this has got 2 full pages. Okay. The following was extracted from the Department of Air Force report of death. The 6 personnel compromised this. These 6 personnel compromised the crew of the lead helicopter in a flight of 3 CH-3s which departed Nakhon Phanom 23 May 68. The flight, escorted by 2 A-1Es, was on a classified ordnance delivery mission in the vicinity of KHE SANH. Upon arriving in the target area, all aircraft descended through a cloud break to locate the target. The terrain of the area consisted of rugged mountains and dense jungles, and the low cloud ceiling prevented the flight members from locating the target. Temporarily aborting their mission, they began their ascent through the clouds while maintaining radio contact. The number 2 and number 3 helicopters reached the top of the clouds, and the 2 pilots gave their positions. And a report from a lead helicopter revealed that it was still in the clouds. Moments later, one of the escort pilots observed an explosion under the clouds since the lead helicopter was still out of sight, and all efforts were further made to contact with the crew were unsuccessful. The escorted aircraft descended through the clouds in the search area. However, clouds prevented their locating the crash site, and further attempts to contact the crew of the lead aircraft were to no avail. Search was continued by remaining flight members until they were forced to depart due to shortage of fuel, leaving other aircraft in the area to search. At no time had an hostile ground fire been noted, nor were there any Allied artillery strikes in the area. Search efforts. Numerous aircraft arrived in the area. When the cloud cover cleared, a smoldering wreckage was seen from an air, and several parts of the CH-3 helicopter, which were widely scattered, were noticed. Portions identified in one area were rotor blades, horizontal stabilizer, and fuselage section. Aft and rear doors and 150 meters up a 30-degree hill were found in the forward position of the fuselage nose and main gear. The impact point located on the slope, 5,700 feet, foot mountain, and about 500 feet below the peak. No signs of survivors were observed, and no beeper signs were heard. The helicopters could not get into the area due to several turbulence, which precluded lowering a man to examine the crash site. During the next 3 weeks, attempts by Marine forces to reach the crash sites were unsuccessful. Whew. Supplemental information: a message from the 366 Combat Support Group, Nadang Nated, 11 July 1969, stated that a ground party had reached the crash site on 2nd November 68, and the 5 remains were found. A copy of the report and processing remains dated 15th January 69 concluded that only the remains of Captain Taylor could be identified. 6 separate remains were accounted for, but the remains of the other 5 individuals should be interred as a group burial. discussion. Not only were 6 separate remains recovered, but it also was safe to assume that a large amount of ordnance being carried on the helicopter would have exploded at the time it crashed, thereby precluding any changes of survival of aboard. Oh my god, that was a lot of reading. What number am I on? Uh, John Albert, John Ernest. Okay. That was so much reading. That took so much oxygen. But let's keep rolling on. This is PFC Lewis Albanese. Oh, we didn't do the moment silence. I'm sorry. He's on panel 66E, line 5. Let's give Sergeant John Ernest Albanese Jr. a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Okay, this is PFC Lewis Albanese. Born April 27, 1946 in Veneto, Italy. Died December 1st, 1966. He was 20. Dien Vietnam. Medal of Honor recipient. See photos. Another photo read. Oh my God, I'm going to be out of breath before this is over with. Jesus Christ. Here we go again. Vietnam Medal of Honor recipient, born in Venice, Italy, served in the United States Army during the war in Vietnam as a private first class. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for his bravery December 1st, 1960. His citation reads, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of life and beyond the call of duty. PFC Albanese's platoon, while advancing through densely covered terrain to establish a blocking position, received intense automatic weapons fire from close range. As other members maneuvered to assault enemy positions, PFC Albanese was ordered to provide security for the left flank of the platoon. Suddenly, the left flank received fire from an enemy located in well-concealed ditches. Realizing the imminent danger to his comrades from this fire, PFC Albanese fixed his bayonets and moved aggressively into the ditch. Oh, he was on it. His actions silenced the sniper fire, enabling a platoon to resume movement towards the main enemy position. As the platoon continued to advance, the sound of heavy firing emanated from the left flank from the pitch of battle that ensued in the ditch where PFC Albanese had entered. He was going through smoking them. The ditch was actually a well-organized complex of enemy defense designed to bring devastating flanking fire on forces attacking the main position. PFC Albanese, disregarding the danger to himself, advanced 100 meters along the trench, killed 6 of the snipers who were armed with automatic weapons. Having exhausted his ammunition, PFC Albanese was mortally wounded when he engaged and killed 2 or more enemy soldiers in a fierce hand-to-hand combat. His parallel action stabilized many members of his platoon, who otherwise would have fallen to sniper fire from the ditch, and enabled the platoon to successfully advance against enemy forces in overwhelmingly numerically superiority. PFC Albanese's extraordinary heroism and supreme dedication to his comrades were commensurate with the finest traditions of military service and remains a tribute to himself, his unit, and the U.S. Army. His medal was presented to his family at the Pentagon by Secretary of the Army Stanley A. Resor on February 16, 1968. His name is found on the Vietnam War. Okay. Ooh, that was a lot of reading, but this guy, let's go ahead and star his name. Both of these are going to get a read because those were both amazing stories. Wow. He is on panel 12E, line 131 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Medal of Honor recipient PFC Lewis Albanese a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. This is Sergeant Luigi Frank Albanese. Born August 4th, 1948 in Veneto, Italy as well. I think these are family members. Was the other one Italy as well? No. I think these were brothers because this guy was born in 48. The other guy was born in 46. Both from Veneto, Italy. Died January 27, 68, and he was 19 of A Company, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Infantry Regiment, 1st Infantry Division. See photo, Silver Star recipient. Now, these guys were brothers. Let me look at their pictures. Lewis Albanese was from Seattle. Yeah, and Luigi Albanese was from Seattle. So these guys had to have been brothers or cousins, and one got the Medal of Honor and one got the Silver Star. Wow, what a family! Okay, let's read the photo. Whew. All right. On this date, Sergeant Albanese was serving as driver of armored personnel carrier for his unit. The unit was conducting a search and destroy and road security operation along Highway 13 between Laiki and Locke when a friendly patrol encountered a numerically superior enemy force and radioed for assistance. Sergeant Albanese's vehicle and two others unhesitatingly answered the call and moved to the area of contact to assist the patrol. As they approached the area, they received heavy enemy automatic weapon fires. Sergeant Albanese, knowing that the patrol had incurred casualties and had to be reached, immediately drove on, even though exposed to the hostile fire. Because of the rough terrain and limited visibility, it was necessary for him to place himself in a more exposed position to navigate to the patrol. He drove to their position and, with complete disregard for his own personal safety, dismounted to aid his wounded comrades onto the vehicle. While assisting a fellow soldier in the safety of the truck, Sergeant Albanese was mortally wounded by enemy fire. His dauntless courage and demonstrated by the selfless sacrifice for his fellow soldier distinguishes him as a soldier of the highest caliber. Sergeant Albanese's unquestionable valor while engaged in military operations, unquestionably involving conflict with the insurgent force from giving credit upon himself, the First Infantry Division, and the United States Army. So we had a Medal of Honor and a Silver Star back to back, and they were probably brothers slash cousins. I don't know. I have to look. Well, I have stars next to their names, so that's going to get some more research. Whew. And this next guy, okay, let's see, Washington. The first guy from California, was from New York. This next guy was from New Jersey. Related? I don't know, but this is Robert Albanese. If they are related, this is a hell of a family. Master Sergeant Robert Albanese, born October 25th, 1931, in Belvedere, New Jersey, died July 3rd, 1969. He was 37. He was with HR Company, 2nd Battalion, 560th Infantry, 104th Airborne Division, Intelligence Specialist. Died in a helicopter crash. He was on a non-crew passenger on a UH-1H flight. The aircraft suffered engine failure and crashed, so he was just a passenger on there. He's on panel 21W, line 50 of the Wall Memorial. I don't think I did Albanese's before him, so let's go and do them both. Louis Albanese, the Silver Star. Luigi Albanese, the Silver Star, is on panel 25E, line 43, and Master Sergeant Robert Albanese is on panel 21W, line 50. Give them both a moment of silence. We thank both of them for their service. Okay, this is Corporal Paul Edward Albano. Died December 25th. Born December 25th, 1944, in Albany, New York. Born on Christmas. Died March 28, 1967. He was 27, Quang Tri, Vietnam. Aircraft communicator, VMO2, MAG-16, 1st Marine Air Wing. He was the gunner on a UH-1 when it crashed and burned due to a hostile fire. 50 cal ammo hit the cockpit cabin area, killing the pilot and flight surgeon. Nose dived into the ground and exploded. Whew. He's on panel 17E, line 59 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Corporal Paul Albano a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. This is PFC Saferno Albert Perez Jr. Saferno Albanese Jr. These names are killing me. Born February 25th, 1947 in Lockhart, Texas. Died June 13th, 1960. He was 21 in Cong Tum, Vietnam. He was A Company, 3rd Battalion, 12th Infantry, 1st Brigade, 4th Infantry Division. Was on combat patrol when he collapsed and died before he was evacuated for medical treatment. Cause of death was unknown. He'd only been in Vietnam for 19 days. Info says that his name is incorrect on the memorial. It is supposed to be Alvarez, not Albanese. So someone made a mistake there, I think. He's on panel 57W, line 7 on the wall memorial. Let's give PFC whatever your last name is, since we're not sure, a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. All right. Special read on National Vietnam War Veterans Day. This is Captain Johnny Anthony Albaso. Born August 15th, 1943, died. Home of record was Angels Camp, California. Died July 28th, 1969. He was 25 in Guam. He was the 393rd Bomb Squadron, 4133rd Bomb Wing P Provisionals Strategic Air Command. His plane crashed into the Pacific Ocean following the failure of the starboard wing after takeoff. All 8 crewmen were killed. The captain ejected, but his chute was partially deployed. His remains and 5 others were found. 2 bodies were never found. Whew. He's on panel 2W, line 125 of the War Memorial. Let's give Captain Anthony Albaso a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. We're on 434. So we still got 6 more. This is a long read. I see why I only do 20. It's hard to do 40, especially live. For my breathing, anyway. Definitely hard to do 40, so I will stick to my 20. This is Lance Corporal Michael Alberici. It's not hard to read the names. It's hard breathing to read the names. He was born March 3rd, 1947 in Flushing, New York. Died August 24th, 1968. He was 21 in Quang Nam, Vietnam. He was an aerial gunner. HMM 265 MAG 16 1st Marine Air Wing. He was a crew member on a CH 46A that was on a resupply mission during Operation Manalook Thrust. It landed to resupply Marines. As if it was when it was lifting off, it was hit by a hostile fire, causing damage. The pilot attempted to fly to another location when it crashed and exploded. Whew. He's on panel 47W, line 59 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Lance Corporal Michael Alberici a moment of silence. I thank him for his service. Okay, this is Sergeant Daniel John Albert. Finally, an easy name to read. He was born November 19th, 1948 in Berlin, New Hampshire. Died November 21st, 1968. He was 20 in Vietnam. He was with Advisory Team 43, MA Advisory HQ, MACV, was killed by explosive device. His remains were not recovered. That's terrible. He's on panel 38W, line 22 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Sergeant Daniel John Albert a moment of silence. And we thank him for his service. This is Lance Corporal David Albert. Names are getting easier. Born November 19th, 1948 in Berlin, New Hampshire. Died November 21st. I just read that one. I don't know. Losing it. This is Lance Corporal David Albert, born June 2nd, 1949 in Jersey City, Jersey. Died September 5th, 1969. He was 20 in Quang Nam, Vietnam. He was an anti-tank assault man with I Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division. He was in a night defensive position when they were attacked. David died as a result of shrapnel wounds from mortar fire. He's on panel 18W, line 35 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Lance Corporal David Albert a moment of silence. Okay, this is PFC Louis Basil aka Buddy Oliver Albert Jr. So Louis Basil Buddy Oliver Albert Jr. What a name. He was born September 28, 1948 in Howelton, Maine. Died October 8th, 1969. He was 21 in Quang Nam, Vietnam. He was a B Company 11th Motor Transportation Battalion, 1st Marine Division. He was the driver of a Husky M116 on a supply run. His vehicle detonated a hostile landmine. He died from multiple frag wounds to the body. 3 other Marines died in the accident. He's on panel 17W, line 48 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC Buddy Oliver a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. All right, 2 more reads and we have done 40. What do you know? No, 3 more because I had to do number 440. Okay. This is PFC Peter Albert. See, the names are getting easier. Where's John Smith? Born September 6, 1947 in Chelsea, Massachusetts. Died May 19th, 1967. He was 19 in Quang Tri, Vietnam. Anti-tank assaultman with K Company, 3rd Battalion, 9th Marine Regiment, 3rd Marine Division. They were participating in Operation Hickory, attempting to drive out the enemy. They encountered hostile forces on Hill 158. Peter died from a gunshot wound to the head. That's putting it bluntly. He's on panel 20E, line 39 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give PFC Peter Albert a moment of silence. Thank him for his service. Okay, there we go. This is SP4 Raymond Howard Albert Jr. Born September 4th, 1945, Imperial Beach, California. Died September 20th, 1968. He was 23. Bien Dong, Vietnam. He's a Company C, 1st Battalion, 2nd Infantry Regiment, 1st Battalion, 1st Infantry Division. Always tongue twisters. Died from other explosive device. That's all it said. Hold on. I only got one more to do now in the live. He's on panel 43W, line 44 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give SP4 Raymond Howard Albert Jr. a moment of silence. Thank him for his service. Okay, this is the 40th read. This is Corporal Richard Patrick Albert, born March 17, 1948, in St. Agatha, Maine. St. Agatha, Maine. Died August 20th, 1969. He was 21 in Long An, Vietnam. He was a Company D, 2nd Battalion, 12th Infantry, 25th Infantry Division. He was injured when a booby trap detonated while he was on a mission. He died later of his wounds. He's on panel 19W, line 76 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Corporal Richard Patrick Albert a moment of silence. And we thank him for his service. Now, I'll see why I only do 20 because 40 is really hard to read live for sure. At least unlive, I can pause it. But that was a hard read. But if you guys, like I said, it's National Vietnam War Veterans Day, so it's a special day to read their names. I love doing them anyway. But if you guys like that, subscribe and you can see when the next videos are coming up, and you can comment anything you want to, and we'll do another read in a couple days. Guys, I'll see y'all on the next one.